exciting. Something's making noise. So I'm very excited to begin, and you all need a few administrative stuff. My goal for today is I want to do like an hour of admin and prep work and introduction to settings and characters, and then we can try and do a couple hours of session once everything's calmed down a bit. First and foremost, can you all please have a look at Roll20? Go ahead and log in, jump on there if you can. Jed, you can do this in a bit. And just make sure that you're happy with your token. Make sure you're happy with your character portrait. Make sure you're happy with your personal details. So I can see, for example, that Mike, you just posted, but it came up as Mara N. I think your Roll20 username is Mara. So something to change there. Have a look in your library, make sure you can see your thing, and then I will also encourage all of you, for the sake of convenience, to when you can, go ahead and import your character sheets in there. Let's see here. One thing I was going to say is, in this campaign, at the request of some of our lovely players, and also my own sanity, we're going to be using Roll20 every week, but we're going to be using it a little less intensively. The way that we did it before was really like, there was a map for every single thing, and that was fine in some ways, but not, it was a lot of work. So in order to make sure that I don't throw myself off a bridge and that you guys can still have fun doing stuff that we're doing, we're going to be doing it a little more sparingly. So the way that I was going to formulate it was, I will show you, if you all consult your Roll20s. We've got our homepage, and I'll reintroduce you to the homepage now, actually. We've got our homepage over here. In this section, you all have the ability to write whatever you want. You can take notes. You can collaborate, whatever you please. I'll try and keep this area with current location and other information as up to date as possible, but of course it's your pin board, so feel free to put stuff over it. I'll throw things on there if there's nothing, the weather and the date. You've got your watch section for the watches that you're going to set up in the night, or in the day, as the case may be. This is important because it will help us to determine, based on stuff, when certain random encounters are going to happen. And all of you also have your own personal items here on the board. So we've got, let's see if I can remember all of your names. We've got a sword for Boone, because I didn't have a gun, so I thought that was roguish. We've got a sword for Boone. We've got a glowy green creepy crystal for Kirkas. We've got some lovely mistletoe for our druid friend Malin, a set of horrific medical instruments for Dr. Glade, and an instrument here for Kairos, Josh's bard. If you want those changed, if you find something else, if you want to move it around, you also have the ability to do that, so go nuts. So this is your homepage. This is what the week on week will be resetting it to, just like we always have. Feel free to do whatever you want with it. It is yours to dick about with. One of the other things that we'll be updating throughout the campaign, and what we'll be using sometimes instead of maps for walking through with tokens, is this one here. This is the overworld map that you'll see in just a second. It's the atlas that I made of Skenesos. As we move between different areas, I'll try and keep maps updated. I can't promise, but I will try. You can see at Notice in the center, in section F3, there is a small D20 token that I made. That is your party, so I'll make sure that we keep that up to date, and we're moving that wherever your party happens to find itself. You also have the ability, if you'd like to, you should be able to add tokens or other things on here. This is also your map. I've got a copy. This isn't the only copy. So if you want to take notes on this or work with it in whatever way you want, then you absolutely can. Just let me know, and I can switch the player token back and forth. But it's also your reference, and it's pinned in our Discord server on the resources for the new campaign tab, so that you've got a downloadable blank copy to look at and work with. If you want a different token as well for the party, I just used this random D20 that I found because I couldn't think of anything more creative. So shout, because I just felt that worked, but there's probably something nicer. Or indeed, if someone ever gets if we ever get, now that Mike has all these lovely friends that do this art, some sort of Christmas present where we all get drawn. Who knows? Then we can put that in. But for the time being, we'll keep it as a D20. So we'll be back for now. So there's that. All right, what's next on my list? Not you. Never you. Okay, so the first thing I also want to do, just to get rid of some of the rules bits and to get it explicit before we start talking about our lovely characters, is a couple things. Number one, experience is going to work a little bit differently because I actually read the rules and I'm starting to pay attention to it and have a plan, as opposed to last time when I just sort of chucked it at you. So in Rules as Written, what I never did was divide the combat XP amongst the players. I always gave you all of it, which was fine. It meant you guys leveled up nice and fast. But this time I've really gone to the point of trying to get some stuff a bit more on the ball. So there's going to be a few ways that you're going to be able to earn XP in this case. We're going to be able to get it through combat, of course. The standard amount that you would normally expect divided amongst the party for a given CR monster or whatever. You're also able to gain XP through non-combat options if there's a meaningful risk of failure at any point. So if instead of fighting the monster, you charm it or you whatever, just because you've taken a non-combat option still means you'll gain an equitable amount of XP based on if something was easy or hard or whatever. So anytime there's a meaningful risk of failure in a non-combatant way, then you'll be able to gain some XP. And of course, the last but not least is milestones along the journey of a given quest or a given chapter that we're going to be working through. You will find the MacGuffin, you will kill the dragon, you will fight the blah, 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 blah. And these are all individual points of reference along your journey, and these are all deserving of XP, even if they aren't combat-driven. If there's a hidden cave, then finding it is a step. So we can give you some XP for that as well. So hopefully it'll all stay on plan, as I'm being extra anal about this one. If you flub it, fail, if it's a hard-fought battle, I will let you know, and I will reserve the right to deduct XP from your total. So if you win the fight, great, you can get your full XP. If you kind of got your ass handed to you, then you might only get half XP, and if you have to run away and cry behind a tree like a little bitch, then you might not get any XP at all. So just consider that as you go through your options. Last but not least, on the rule side, this is the last rule we'll talk about, and then we'll start talking about characters, is inspiration. So I learned something interesting in the DM's Guide and the Player's Handbook about inspiration, which I'm starting to do in my real-life campaign. It's a small change, but it is a fun one. Number one, you can only have one inspiration at any one time. I think we already knew that. So we can't stack them. But number two, I'll grant it to you for whatever I deem fit, usually moments of strong characterization or a wonderful choice that you've made or whatever. I'll give you inspiration. If you want to grant another player your inspiration point for something that they've done, you're absolutely able to do that and hand it to them. The one caveat that I'll make is you can't do it for a mechanic advantage. So if you're in the middle of a fight and you know that someone should take advantage on a roll, you can't metagame it and hand it to them that way, but you can grant it to them as a gift for the same reasons that the DM would, because you really vibed with something they did, or because their character did something for your character, or whatever. So don't be afraid to pass it on, but make sure that you're doing it for the right reasons, because you can't do it for, like, metagame mechanic reasons. Okay, so that's a little bit about the rules for this campaign that we're just setting off at the outset. All the other rules as written are going to stay the same. I toyed with the idea of doing the gritty realism long and short rest ones, but I'm not going to do that. We're just going to keep it all standard 5th edition by and large, which should keep things simple because then you'll have that reference for yourselves. So let's start meeting some of our new characters. I've had the opportunity to have a lovely conversation with most of you about these characters that you've made and why we're excited to play them, but I know that maybe some of your other players might not have. So why don't we start with Mike? Mike, who you bringing to the table this campaign?
All right. I'm bringing to the table a character that I've thought about for a little while. I bounced around a couple ideas, but I ended up going with something that was a little bit closer to like what I think it would be easier for me to instinctually make decisions, because I tried to make him a little bit, not so much because I'm not nearly as badass as this guy, but a little bit closer to what I've what I've done through, right, with the Navy. So this guy is he's part of the Pirates Guild. His name's Boone Marlowe. He is a wood elf. Um, he's essentially a sky pirate. Was a sky pirate, is a sky pirate. Um, he's got pretty traditional wood elf clothing on. He's got leather armor. He's got almost a half poncho on up on his right side of his body to kind of conceal what his shooting hand is doing. So you don't really know if he's got a hand on a pistol, just kind of waiting, or what.
Is
He's
that a Paul Blart move?
Oh yeah, hey, you just gotta fiend it. But he's a cool cat. Let me pull up his character sheet so I can stop blabbering. He's a pretty calm guy. He tends not to raise his voice or let his emotions get the control of him. He's chaotic good, but he doesn't necessarily really show it. He tries to keep himself close to the Great Spirit or whatever his personal, you know, wood elf upbringing would be. There's always a spark of good in everybody. He does have a bit of a vice, though. He drinks. He likes his booze. Yeah, he's a quick draw McGraw guy, and he's got a level head. He's got bright golden eyes. He's got like a copper skin, darker copper skin, about 160 pounds, 5'9", 5'10". He's got black hair, kind of up, half of it's up in the top, not the rest kind of falls down to about his shoulders. And he's about 205 years old. So he's getting up there in the years for him. He's a cool cat. I'm excited to play him. Oh, sorry. He's got a criminal background, clearly, because he's a pirate. And he's a fighter, gunslinger.
So thank you very much. We're excited to meet Boone. A couple questions, actually. Something I think I want to do just to really encourage the good character work. I didn't do 12 years of theater for nothing. Mike, go ahead and roll me a d20.
All right, here we go. And your character's dead.
You failed your death saves, and Boone is born dead the second he steps into the world.
I actually, how do I roll a d20 r/d20 or?
I think it's exclamation point, isn't it?
You can just do it in roll 20.
Yeah, he's trying to.
I kind of forgot. How do I do it?
You can do it on the side over here.
Yeah.
You just click on d20.
Oh yeah, I can. Nah. Here we go. Oh my god.
Okay.
Get it out of the way early.
God damn it.
What emotion would best describe your character? Try to use a specific emotion, not angry or happy.
A specific emotion.
So yeah, if you had to pin down like a colorful, specific emotion to describe Boone, or that Boone, I suppose, feels like, his default emotion. What's he bringing to the world? How does he move through the world? Cheerfully? Ragingly?
Oh God.
I'm gonna have to look up emotions.
Right? I've got a couple.
You are the straightest man. What are emotions? I need a list.
Jeez. I would say I don't want to say apathetic, but like what's a good word for patient? Synonyms for patient.
So there's a lot of emotions.
Oh my god.
I would say he. Well, perceptive. I would say.
That's not an emotion. That's a quality.
Okay, emotion. before I say it, let me make sure I know what it means. Nope, that's not him. Can you come back to me?
Okay, I'll come back to you.
I'm scared.
I've got it written down, so I won't forget. We'll do this before we launch the campaign. Okay, thank you very much. Next, let's hear from Adam. Adam, tell us about your character.
Okay, can you hear me okay?
I sure can.
So, Dr. Glade, he is a tabaxi doctor. He always covers his hands and his body and his face because he's found that tabaxis aren't always welcome and aren't always trusted, especially when it comes to helping people and acting as their doctor. So he covers himself up. That's also to piss his dad off, who his dad is quite the high flyer. He is the doctor for the rich folk of the city, and Dr. Glade actually he prefers to help the peasants and the poor people, very much to the disgust of his dad. And his dad, his family's lived in the city for a long time. They left their tribe a long time ago, and to fit in, his family have always removed their hair, so they're bald, and they try to fit in with the humans and other races. But Dr. Glade, he refuses to do that, but he does cover himself up to aid his bedside manner when he's helping people. But he has a side hobby of he's very interested in adventuring, because it gets him access to different races and different injuries that he can study, and how to help people, or exotic diseases and different poisons and beasts that have attacked people, and just to it's just a hobby of his to expand his knowledge. I think that's a thing for tabaxis. They find knowledge more precious than anything else, and that's what he just likes to fill his mind with different animals and different people, and how they anatomy works, which I hope will also make him a bit deadly in battles, because he knows exactly where to strike, but also knows how to help people if he can. But his blades can be turned for good or bad. Because he's been living in the rough parts of town, he's had to learn how to look after himself as well. He's picked up some ways of sneaking around. So he's built around the rogue class, but has some, with the agreement of Alex, he's got some medical abilities attached to him. But yeah, he's built around the rogue. So hopefully a bit of sneaking around from him, and some surprise attacks with his scalpel. But yeah, he's kind-hearted, good bedside manner if people will let him near them, and he prefers to help the vulnerable and the weak.
Very good. Well, thank you. I know I'm excited to see how that plays out as well. Roll a d20 for me. Is that your emotion, Mike? Sympathetic? Okay. Right.
Dr. Glade has rolled 8.
8. Okay. Tell me 3 things that your character considers sacred.
3 things. Mm-hmm. Protecting the weak and vulnerable. Mm-hmm. The pursuit of knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
And a third one. Just repeat the question that he holds.
Please name 3 things which your character considers sacred.
I would say that even though he doesn't like it, probably the old tabaxi ways as well. Even because he's never really lived as a true tabaxi in the wild, because he's been brought up in the city where his family's. But I think he kind of innately is drawn to those ways and wants to honour them, but it's kind of split between the two of modern ways but also the tabaxi ways, and I think maybe as we go out adventuring those might come to the surface where he's been suppressing them in the city.
Okay. 8's a fun one, because now you get to tell me 3 things that your character is ideologically opposed to.
Okay. Power and by privilege. He is ideologically opposed to necromancy.
Oh shit.
Okay.
I think bringing people back. I think he would be fine with bringing people back to life, but bringing them back to have power over them as zombies and.
So resurrection is okay.
Yes,
in like a clerical sense.
Yes, resurrection.
Not a zombification.
Yes, and enslavement. Okay. And I suppose that would probably lead to his third one as well, slavery.
Slavery. Okay. Thank you. Next, I've got Trev down. Trev, who are you bringing to us this time?
Well, I'll try to be as good as Adam and Mike were, but I don't know if I can be. I have Cricus Van Zaren. He is a half sun elf and half human mix, and he's a warlock. He was raised in the sun elf court and for about 10 years in secret, and then when they found out, they killed his mom and then exiled him and his twin brother. But his twin brother would eventually die from disease, which sparked Cricus's quest, I guess, for finding eternal life and the ability to bring back the dead. Mainly his twin, because he was really close with him, spent 14 years basically scavenging throughout Skinasos, I believe. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know if I pronounced that wrong. But spent like 14 years with him before he eventually got sick and died. He's essentially a walking encyclopedia because he can speak. He's fluent in 5 different languages. And he can read any language if it's written down. So, should come in handy. And let's see. What else is there about him? He's soft-spoken, but he's a little crazy, mainly because of the warlock and his sponsor, so to say, or patron. He's lost part of himself, so sometimes he makes coherent sentences, and other times he just kind of doesn't talk properly, or just acts really bizarre that no one else can understand. And he has a fixation on showing off how powerful he is whenever he can. Just mainly, he wants to scare people into not messing with him because he is deathly afraid to die, and he wants to show people he's powerful so they don't fuck with him, essentially.
Okay. Interesting. Roll a d20 for
5.
5. Okay, this should be fun then. So we know what your character's goal in life is, right? Ultimately, he wants to resurrect his brother. How does question?
I would say that's more of a secondary thing. His
Okay.
ultimate goal is to not die.
Okay.
So
So his ultimate goal may be immortality then, which by its very nature would then give him infinite time in which to figure out how to resurrect his brother. No, question 5 is, how does your character believe that this goal can be accomplished?
I would say he thinks his companion, so to speak, for lack of a better word, I say he thinks that by siphoning off knowledge and power from him, his name is Yavuxi. Yavuxi. So if he's able to, he believes that he can siphon enough power, knowledge off of Yavuxi and learn how to properly, or how to become immortal.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Judd, are you ready for us? Or are you still just needing time to listen?
Almost, but not quite.
Okay. 5 minutes?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to take 5 minutes because I'm going to go get another drink right now. So we'll reconvene at 10 past.
Trevor, how do you spell your character's name?
Krikas.
I'm just
Is it not a Z? Oh, it is an S. Okay. Sorry.
K
Krikas.
K
Krikas.
Krikas.
AS.
Thank you. I'm just adding some labels onto the stream next to our tokens. And then, Mike, what was yours? Oh, Boone. And do we know what Josh's character's called?
Yes, Josh's character is called, I won't know how to pronounce it. It's either K-Roz or Kai-Roz, but it's K-A-I-R-O-Z.
Thank you. Maybe if people could put their names in brackets on Roll20 after their real name. I know.
Yeah.
Personally, that helps me when I'm trying to talk to a character, because I'll forget everyone's names.
There we go.
Do we know Judy's Malan by the looks of it?
I guess Alex has fixed it in the D&D or the Discord server.
Yep.
Yeah. Still has Mike as Mara though.
I thought I did Adams and Mike's, but it may have been bad internet. I'll try again in a second. I tried to do Josh's, but I think because he's also server admin, he won't let me.
I see myself as Boone on Roll20. Or sorry, not Roll20, Discord.
Mike, you changed your Discord server name to Boone, but your nickname is still Mike Mark.
Shit, dog. Wait, no, on the side where it says voice chat.
It still shows Mara for me.
Mine says Boone.
Does it say Mike Boone or just Boone?
It says Mike, and then in parentheses Boone.
Oh, because I did change it, but maybe I don't know. Maybe it's slow to update across different people's devices.
Yeah, I'm sure if I like close D&D or Discord out and open it back up, it'd work.
I don't think it's that crucial.
No, it's not.
Adam, your name is so long. You've gone 2 layers on my Roll20 thing.
Well, he is a doctor after all.
Oh, what the hell?
Can we take this opportunity, actually, while we wait for Judd? Can we all go on to Roll20? And if you haven't already, if nothing else, can you please plug in your character's HP, armor class, and passive perception? Because those are the ones that are set into those 3 bubbles above your token that inform, like, as things happen and all that. But your dex score and all the other initiative stuff is also super helpful. So while we wait for Judd, if you can just go, if you haven't already, and throw some of that stuff in. Adam wins the best player contest for this session because he did it like 3 weeks ago.
I feel like that's cheating.
No, it's just called being prepared.
How does it go again? Armor class, HP, and then passive, or
No, I've set it for your tokens, not the ones on the homepage because they don't need it, but for the ones later. If you go into your like if you go into your character sheet, if you click on your character, then it'll allow you to edit the sheet directly. Does that make sense?
I mean, it says everything's on my character sheet. That is correct.
You might be all right.
Oh, okay.
I said if you need to do it. I wasn't calling you out.
Oh,
You
no, I know
chose to
that. I
hear
thought I just thought I didn't do it.
So now here's a thing. Trev, just looking at some of your core stuff, personality traits, ideals, bonds, and flaws.
Oh, that's I didn't finish that because
No, it's okay. It's also something you just said about your character. I'm gonna really encourage you. God, I'm gonna encourage you so hard to avoid falling into the trap of becoming chaotic stupid. Because the fact that you're slightly insane and you have no empathy and you just want to show people how strong you are is like such a recipe for murder hobo chaotic stupidness. And I know you're better than that because I've played with you for like almost 2 years now. So just resist the urge.
Okay.
I thank you.
I will. I might change the flaw from lack of empathy because that was before I had a real vision of what I wanted.
It's also very difficult to roleplay lack of empathy often if you are a person that has it, and like to do it convincingly anyway.
Oh, actually, I was thinking, he would have a drug problem.
Sure, why the fuck not?
Just to like enhance his senses.
I have to bump into Sunny.
What was that, Adam?
He should bump into Sunny.
I am here.
Oh, hi, Judd.
Oh, are you ready to have a chit chat?
Pretty much.
Oh, good. Then why don't you tell us a bit about your character?
I am Marwan, a druid. Marwan was raised in a tribe of druids in a large circle. There were some non-druids and other forest worshippers there. He grew up, as most did. He took a slightly different stance in believing that nature was cruel and almost unfeeling. So while he is inherently, or can inherently be good, he was ostracized from the tribe for being too cruel and believing punishments weren't just enough. He set out to look for more and more powerful beast shapes so that he could eventually challenge for the leadership of the circle and show that his beliefs were worthy.
Okay. How old is he?
Malan is 17. The
Human?
Human, yeah. He light-skinned. He has dark hair. Oh no, he's not 17. Sorry, he's 21. Because he has a beard, can't be. He is, human, light, fair-skinned, quite slight. Not very physically able, which is why he is hoping to obtain beast shapes.
Mm.
So he can use that to his advantage. He's quite
Okay.
quick-witted at times, but often he's often quite insulting. I have lost.
Sounds a lot like a wizard I knew.
No, I'm thinking there's a difference. This one's a druid.
So it is. Roll d20 for me.
Sorry to interject. Quick question. Did you already say what circle?
I will be moon. 8, Alex.
We've had an 8, so can you roll again for me?
Yeah. 9, Alex.
9. Very good. What, or I suppose who, has had the biggest impact on your character's life?
That is an interesting question.
I hope it leads to an interesting answer.
Then I hope not to disappoint. I suppose it could be one of the women of the tribe who felt similar to Malan. She really validated his beliefs. So and told him he wasn't the only one who felt like this. This is why he's set out to obtain experience and knowledge to gain leadership, because he feels that there are people who believe like he does within the tribe.
What was she called?
She was called Patemei.
Can you spell that for me?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. I'm going to give you a quick bit on Josh's character for you, because he asked me to give you just a quick bit, and then obviously we'll have him do his own characterization question, because I'm answer that. Josh's character is, God, I'm going to butcher the pronunciation, so if you're listening to this recording, I apologize. You can correct me later. Kairos Zakair. And the I on Zakair has the umlaut over it, so it's an I with 2 dots. Kairos Zakair is a tiefling. He comes from an isolated tiefling settlement in the country of Silweald, the forest nation, immediately to the north of Skenesos. At a young age, he found an old, roughed-up shawm, and I had to look up what a shawm was, because I didn't know. But it's a long, like, double reed woodwind instrument, like like a medieval oboe. So he found one of those. And after some care and some repairs from his father, and much fiddling about, he managed to get it working, and he began to play and fell in love with music. And over the years, the people of his settlement would feel this warm, like almost tingling when he played, and his parents realized that he had a talent, and he was magically gifted and was channeling his bardic energy through this shawm, this medieval. They'd only ever experienced it once before this moment, which was when a traveling pack of adventurers had stopped in briefly to the settlement, so they knew it was something special. They came from very little means, but scrounging together what little money they had and they could raise from their isolated community, they managed to pay for the travel, all three of them, to go to Notus, the capital of Skenesos, where our adventure begins, in order to audition him at the Royal Conservatoire. He literally typed in conservatoire, not conservatory, of Notus. He had an audition, and the panel recognized the clear magical talents and energies from him and was accepted on scholarship. He was very reluctant to move away from his parents, with whom he was very close, but this was definitely the right step for him. He studied at the Conservatoire for 5 years. He's graduated, and now he wants to set off to use his powers. This is where he finds himself today. He has purple skin and light blue eyes. He dresses sharply, and I think in the token that we've set for him, and in his character portrait, which I think is a work in progress Josh is doing, he has no hair, but I think he's actually supposed to have dark hair. So I'll let him confirm that. Short, dark hair, he said. Yes, I've just found. He's flirty, he's creative, he's affable and casual. He's doesn't take himself too seriously. So he's essentially the bard's bard. So that's a little bit about Kairos Zakire. Okie dokie. So now that is everybody. A bit of backstory now for you before we, in the last 10 minutes, before we get kicked off with our first session. Trev, is your token supposed to be upside down? Oh, you're changing it. Okay, great.
Yeah, I left it upside down.
Skenesos is, as you know, and as you can see, I guess I should flip over to... Here we go. Skenesos, as you can see, is a mostly mountainous nation. It's very sea-bound in a lot of ways, and obviously, as Mike's character can tell you, they do have quite a bit of experience in their sky fleet as well. It's bordered by Dimeramos to the east. You will remember Dimeramos, bloody great desert where Jordan's Fabulous Adventuring Group found themselves for some time. And Silweald to the north, which is somewhere you guys haven't been yet, which is a nation of primarily enormous and mostly creepy magical forests. Skenesos has been around for as long as everyone else, but they've enjoyed prosperity by result of the trade that they can deal with through their fleets and through fishing and other industries. It's also a very strong source of gemstones and precious metals for the rest of the world, and so thus it enjoys some economic success. The king of Skenesos carries a special title. He doesn't call himself a king. He calls himself, or the people call him, his title is Rishama, which I will put in the resources tab because I know you'll never spell it. Rishama. The last king, Rishama, whose name was... Got it here. The last king, Merit Ra, died 30 years ago. His very popular young son, Matkare, was a warrior prince. He was handsome, young, flirtatious. People loved him. He helped to maintain the borders at Silweald and the borders between Skenesos and the realm of the Sun Elves, which is its own sort of autonomous zone in the west. And so when he ascended to the throne 30 years ago, he was quickly accepted, and the people enjoyed having him as ruler, as Rishama. Quickly, he began to restructure the state religion. He said he'd had a division and restructured it to a religion he called monadism, which espoused a doctrine looking away from the previous polytheistic structure of faith with all of the gods that you would hear of and expect, Lathander and Chantea and all the rest of them we've talked about, and focused on two things above all. Number one, that there was only one true god, and that was Monad. And number two, that this religion emphasized knowledge above all else. Monadism wasn't inherently impressive as a result of its belief that there is no sin, only ignorance. And that people's duty is to educate themselves and find a way to gain divine knowledge so that they can then ascend in. Many people, however, continue to worship their previous gods, like Lathander, in private. The further people got from the capital, the less strictly enforced the religion became, especially in areas in the extreme ends, which take some time to get to. And Matkare's rule was such economic prosperity and success that no one was too bothered by the need to worship their chosen gods in private and to have a sort of a state religion that you had to adhere to in public. Life went on, and everyone was pretty pleased. That's about the Whistle Stop tour of where we're going to be beginning. Before we begin, we've for 6 minutes. Does anyone have any questions about absolutely anything at all before we get started?
Where on the map would be like a foresty wilderness? I'm just trying to think where my character's family would have originally
So there's
come
a forest
from.
here, the Great Forest of Way. Yeah, and then there's a forest here near the capital called the Foloi Forest. Naturally, Silwield is also a nation, but I mentioned that your family. So I would say, because of what I know about your family's history, it would probably be this one, the Foloi
Yeah.
Forest, because it's so close to the capital that it
Yeah,
probably
yeah.
is natural. Over here in the west, they may have gone to one of these other major cities, but not necessarily the capital.
Where would Boone and his wood elfness, like, I mean, he was ostracized, or not ostracized, but he was expunged from that area.
Yeah, so the Wood Elves were cast out of Silwield, the great forests of Silwield, 200 years ago. And there was a diaspora as they were cast out. So they would have come south, and Boone would probably be from somewhere up here in the north, either from the province of Lyrig or the province of Austin. I'll let you pick a town. It's immaterial for me, but I'd say you'd probably be from up here in the north. You wouldn't be from like a wood. I think there's very much this like broken community now, where now it sits in cities, and they're just sort of wood elves are in the world, but they don't have like an ancestral homeland anymore. Horndean, very good. You're Horndean. There it is. I think we talked about. Let me see about everybody else. I know that Josh's character is explicitly from Silwield, which is cool. Malin, where are you from? It doesn't need to be from Skenesos. It can be from anywhere.
I was thinking somewhere around the Great Forest of Way.
Okay, great. You can be from around here.
As a foresty thing. I'll speak to you during the week and
Fine.
chat a bit more.
No problem. And Krika's Sun Elves. So the Sun Elves, the realm of the Sun Elves is over here, as you can see here in the west. There is very much a hard with that region through this isthmus here in the west. And obviously that's where you will be from your backstory. You'll be from either Ehalone or Tlasala, the two major cities of the Sun Elves. It's worth noting for our other players that the Sun Elves, by and large, have been stuck behind this hard for the last 1,000 years. People really haven't seen them. They've really kept themselves to themselves. So it should raise some eyebrows that Cricus's got a particular complexion, shall we say.
I was about to say, is there like any physical attributes that would point someone to know I was a Sun Elf or half
Yeah,
Sun
absolutely.
Elf?
Well, you could alter how you've written your character sheet. Sun Elves have more bronze-colored skin than a Wood Elf, which is paler, and then also their hair is usually like a copper color, or sometimes rarely red, with green eyes, golden ones, which are also uncommon. So like a Wood Elf is very much like chestnut hair, pale skin, green eyes. So the idea that you would either have like gold or hazel or copper eyes, or like copper hair or red hair or black hair and like bronze skin would be very noticeable for the fact that you were an elf or a half elf, as opposed to like a wood half elf, which are much more common.
All right. Could I, since God, I'm gonna butcher this word. Hold on.
I believe in you.
I'm just gonna do this. Can I like constantly, since it's a cantrip, constantly have that going? To like keep my hair blonde, you know, try to like hide the fact.
You could just dye it.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, well I'll just dye it.
Yeah. Okay. You can dye your hair. And
Casting
then
a spell every 6 seconds for all of your life would be exhausting.
Yeah, no, it's a minute, but yeah.
a whole minute.
Every minute.
Um.
Unsuspicious.
So yeah, because even though it's an action, it takes 6 seconds of that minute to speak some sort of magical
Oh.
phrase. So I think dyeing it's probably a better option for you.
Alright, well I will update the
Okay.
sheet a little.
Chaws. Let me pull up my notes and we'll get cracking. It's worth noting that the finer points, as we'll build them out, but those of you that are from Skenesos or would have spent any significant time in Skenesos would have been indoctrinated or educated about this state religion of monadism, which I've built a system around, and it's a bit complex, but it's going to form an underpinning of some story stuff as we go through the campaign without saying too much about it too early, but like it will be useful to reference that kind of thing. So what I've done is I put it on the wiki in Patemei.com, which Josh runs. I've created a page all about monadism and some of the finer points of the belief system for your reference and convenience.
Excellent.
Where is this stupid? Here we go. Okay. Any more before we begin?
Don't think so.
Excellent. We will get cracking. Okay. Here we go. Someone is typing. Can you mute yourself?
Sorry.
Thank you. Always you. Thank you. Still typing? Someone's still typing.
Inside a computer, of course I'm typing.
It's bad radio. Put yourself on mute. Here we go. The night air in the capital city of Notus is warm, but a crisp breeze from the east gives a clue to the incipient changing of the seasons as summer gives way to autumn. We follow the summer breeze across the plains of Notus and through the fields of crops outside the city wall as it tussles the heads of lettuce. It dances through the city gates, nearly snuffing out a torch and mischievously knocking dirt into the eyes of a town guard. This momentary distraction is all that is needed for a dark figure watching from the bushes who uses the opportunity to nip up the walls and into the city unseen. The breeze doesn't wait. It plays through the city streets, upsetting a cart of fish traps, blowing up the skirts of both ladies of refinement and the night. It catches a lover's handkerchief as he stands below his beloved window, and just as she grabs for it, pulls it out of reach. She falls from the balcony and into the arms of her suitor, and they embrace. At last, we see the breeze send the wooden sign of an inn flapping on its hinges, and we see its logo is an enormous, slitted eye. The writing on the sign gives the name of this particular licensed premises as the Eye of the Beholder. A torch burns aside a green wooden, which is framed in the center of a tall, half-timbered building, and stepping inside, we see large timber frames hanging overhead as well. Blackened by age and soot, they support the upper floors. There are tables and booths scattered around the room in a way that no one could accuse of being organized. And at the back is a roaring fireplace as tall as a man and twice as wide, over which hangs a fearsome dragon's skull, confirming to all the reputation of the tavern's owner, her history of adventuring, and establishing the Eye of the Beholder as a gathering point for many a thrill-seeker. Other mementos and trophies adorn the walls, and behind the bar, patron herself, Gala the dwarf. An older dwarven woman with a scarred and pitted face and a beard braided with intricate beads and tassels. She's chatting to a dragonborn man at the bar, and behind her, a trusty warhammer as a place of honor above the good spirits. The bar is relatively full, and among the general townsfolk you note few people of interest. There is a male dwarf and a lady elf, and a male human with a sword at his side. A few of the elves and dwarves who seem more preoccupied with their own thoughts than the adventuring business in the world around them. But the object of your attention is an old human man sitting alone at a table by the fire. He has a bushy white beard and a head so devoid of hair that the firelight shines off of it. He's wearing a thick knit sweater and smoking a pipe in the shape of a horse's head. Blue-gray smoke billows from his nostrils and hangs around him. A month ago, each of you received a letter sealed with wax, which bore the image of the same horse's head. Each was personally addressed, but the message was identical. I have heard of your achievement and would like to offer you a job. I can pay well for what should be easy work for someone of your skills. If you're interested, please come to the Eye of the Beholder in notice on the 15th of Eliassus to discuss the terms. You will find me smoking a horsehead pipe. Yours, Roran Hayhide. First to arrive is Boone.
Here I am. He doesn't say that. Boone, what is the front of this bar? Is that like saloon style doors, or is it a?
No, it's a standard. Like it swings inside, open. It's wood. It has like a little window in it.
Okay. Boone saunters up to the outside of the establishment and peers at the hanging sign, and takes a deep breath and kind of rustles his half poncho over his right arm, and proceeds to open up the door and walk in and take a quick look around, and notices the okay, here I'm seeing it now. This is the front door here.
That's your front door there. You're already inside in this particular.
Okay. Oh, I'm already inside.
Well, you can still enter as your character, but I've
great.
I've only had the map of the tavern.
And this is the
That's
barkeep.
Gala behind the bar. Yep.
And is this the fighter gentleman?
That is the fighter gentleman with the sword by his side.
Okay.
In the corner, I forgot to mention, I apologize, you note a tiefling man with purple skin and light blue eyes, playing some sort of medieval oboe, entertaining the patrons.
I take note of that. I order a flagon of beer.
Flagon.
So Boone saunters up and raises his hand to get the attention of
Aye.
Hi there. I was just wondering if you had what exactly you have on tap.
Mostly ale.
That'll do me just fine. A flagon, please.
Flagon of ale, very good. And she goes and she fetches you a flagon of ale, which I think I had something for, actually. Hang on. Because I knew you'd ask. Here we go. And she brings it back and she says, right. Embarrassing. We're out of ale. We've got lager, porter, pilsner.
A large pilsner, please.
And she comes back, and you see her pour from a cask that is Tooth and Bear Pilsner. And she puts it down in front of you, and she says, that'll be 1 silver piece.
I slide over to and give her a wink and saunter my way over to this seat here. Or actually, yes, this seat here.
Mm-hmm.
And sit myself down and reach into my pocket of my side of my leather armor and take out the letter that has the wax seal broken on it and set it on the table and look the gentleman in the eye and say,
you can move your token if it's convenient.
Yes.
We've done this before.
I say, as I slide the what's it called? Oh, sorry, he's over here.
Yeah, so you see your fighter man. You sit down, or you approach to sit down, I should say, without embarrassing yourself, and you notice that you remember the letter specifically says, "I'll be smoking a pipe with a horse's head," and you notice that he's not smoking a pipe, but this old gentleman over here is in fact smoking a horse head pipe.
Got it. Yeah, no, that's definitely what I'd be looking for. All right, well, I go over there, not side eyeing, but kind of
Mm-hmm.
taking note again of the tiefling playing,
Mm-hmm.
and I slide the broken sealed wax letter on the table and look in the eye and say, I'd introduce myself, but it seems you've already taken note.
And he gives a nod. He says, It's good to see you. I'm glad that you accepted my invitation, Mr. Marlowe. Please sit down. We're expecting a few more to join, and we can discuss business when all are present."
Understood. I lean back and begin to nurse my drink.
Next to enter is Malin.
You go, no longer mute. Yeah, I will have a look around, spot the fella that we're looking for. I'll turn to him and say, I'll have a glass of water.
To the barkeep.
Barkeep, yeah.
A glass of water, and she says, "Right?" And she kind of looks around, a bit at a loss. People don't normally come in asking for a glass of water, but she manages to find you a clean glass and clean water. And she gives it to you and doesn't charge.
Give her a nod, and I will walk over to the pipe man. Is that this one?
No. Over here.
Right.
I think everyone's going to make the same mistake. They're going to go over to the... Oh, sorry.
In that case, I will wander around and I'll...
And you see an elven man sitting at the table already.
And I'll look at the both of them. I'll notice the pipe. And I'll say, you must be in charge.
And he gives a nod and he takes a drag off of the pipe and he says, "Thank you for accepting my invitation, Malin Druid. As I've said to our colleague, Mr. Marlowe here, we're expecting a few more and we can discuss business when all present. I trust that's all right."
I don't see that there's much other option. And I'll wave the letter at Marlowe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I'll say, you got one of these too?
He takes the letter that's still sitting on the table and lifts it up and gives him a wink and lifts it up and then tosses it down and pulls his drink back up.
I'll drink my water quietly.
Next to enter is Crickus.
Ooh, I can see. I will go up to the barkeep and ask for coffee.
Coffee?
Oh,
Real
yeah.
coffee or coffee liqueur?
Preferably real.
Right. And she kind of...
But if you don't have that, I'll take
looks
the
around.
other kind.
She's kind of searching here and there. And she manages to find... like some, she said, I've got this from breakfast, but it's pretty old.
I'll take it.
And she pours you a cold cup of coffee, and says, "I don't feel right about charging you for that, so you can just."
Oh, thank you very much.
And she kind of nods and gives you the pot. There's like half a cup in there still.
All right, and I guess I will make my way to the table.
Mm-hmm.
So you're the one who invited us, or invited me?
That's right. It's good to see you. I trust your journey was well, Mr. Van Zaren.
About as well as expected.
Good. We're only waiting on a few more. and then we can discuss business. And at that moment, Dr. Glade saunters in to the tavern. Are you in full regalia?
Yes, I'll have his
Very good.
his mask and his top hat on. So this is the bar up here, yes?
This is the bar here.
Oh, there, okay. So I'll go over to the bar and have I been in this bar before, do we think?
I think you've probably
Yep,
been here a few
yep,
times,
yep.
adventuring, trying to glean knowledge from people that are passing. So I think Gela gives you a smile and says, Dr. Glade, it's good to see you. The usual, is it?
Yes, please. Yes, a pint of your best ale.
Well, I'm afraid we're out of ale today. I just had to tell someone else. We've got Pilsner or Porter or Lager or something perhaps a wee bit stronger.
The porter's good. Did you know that ale is safer than water in these parts?
I didn't, but if I needed any excuse to drink more ale, I've got it now.
You should put that on the wall.
I will. Put that on the sign outside.
Dr. Glade says.
And she, doctor's orders, that's right, so there you go. And she draws a pint from the babbling jackdaw and puts it on the counter, and she says, right, doctor, that'll be 1 silver piece and 8 copper pieces, if you please.
And I slide them across the bar.
Your very good health, doctor.
Oh, and yours. I know. Call me again if you need me.
She says, she smiles, and she says, right, I'll take 2 and call you in the morning, gives you a wink. And you're on your merry way.
So I'll wander around and... there's the chap. So I'll wander over.
Yep.
Warren? I guess?
Roran.
Warren, Hyde.
Roran Hayhide, that's right.
Yes, I received your letter. Dr. Glade.
Good. Yeah, of course I know, Doctor. Your reputation precedes you. We are almost all here, and he kind of leans over and he says, right, you can stop that caterwailing now. And Kairos sort of goes, and sheepishly makes his way over to the table. And the party is set. And he says, excellent. I'm very glad to see that you have all answered my... And I'm sure you're wondering who I am, what has brought this motley crew together. And now that we are all assembled, I can tell you. As you can tell, and he strokes his long white beard, his big bushy beard, I'm a man in the twilight of his years, and soon I will be gone. I've led a good life, but I cannot pass comfortably until my final wish is fulfilled. It is a wish, then... Let me tell you a story of my youth. When I was a boy, I lived with my father in a town in the south of Skennesaws called Leidenford. My mother didn't survive childbirth, and I was their first, so growing up I was pretty lonely. My dad was a farmer outside the town proper, and I never went to school. He taught me how to tend our land. So most of my friends were the animals we had. Not an uncommon story, really. Anyway, when I was about 12, my father and I went fishing in the river that ran near the town. I'd always heard tales of a big old fish that lived in that river, and over the course of time, these wives' tales and superstitions gave way to folk legends like. I suppose what was probably just a whopping great fish at first took on a supernatural quality as tellings made it grow bigger and gain more fearsome powers with every single iteration. They'd say things like it would appear and disappear mysteriously, cause waves of storm, lightning and thunder, make the ground shake, things like that. My father was pretty no-nonsense, and I love my father, so I never paid those stories any mind. Until that day, river. We were out fishing, and our boat was attacked by what can only be described as a great fish. This monster was bigger than any animal I'd ever seen, and capsized our boat quick enough. My father shouted at me to swim to shore, and when I'd made it, turned, expecting him right behind me, but he'd climbed onto the boat, distracting the fish. so I could get to safety. I watched him try to fight, even as he managed to stab it in the heart, snap the blade of his fishing knife. Well, at least I think it was the heart from all that dark blood. Well, it didn't take kindly to that, and it leapt from the water, and in a single gulp, swallowed my father whole. My life went from bad to worse after that. Being just a child, I lost the farm, no family, was on the streets. I won't bore you with my life story, but I've managed to settle every score I've ever had, save one. That damned fish. I'm old now, ever so much more than 12. So what I'd like is for all of you to go to Leyden and kill that fish for me. This is my final wish, and I've made arrangements to stay comfortable for the rest of my days, so I'm prepared to give you the entirety of my life savings. It's not much, but it should amount to about 250 gold each. It's not a fortune, but it's all that a dying man has.
Well,
That's one hell of a story, old man.
yeah, and let me be the first to say I'm so sorry for your loss. I mean, I know it was a long time ago, but what a sad tale.
Thank you, thank you. I've
His father was an idiot.
No.
Taking on things you don't understand.
Well, I think he was the line between bravery, oh God, I've had too many of these ales. Bravery and idiocy is a thin one, perhaps. I won't dispute that my father could have potentially saved himself, but I think he did what he could the time he was given to save his son's life.
Has there been any sign that this fish still lives?
They have a festival every where they commemorate the fish, and it normally shows up. And so I know within the last couple of years it's been sighted in the river. Certainly since I've left.
And what river or lake might we find this great beast in?
The river, well, the town of Leyden Ford sits on the river Leyden, which you will find here.
Where that question mark is.
Where my pointer is
Where that pinging is.
illuminating.
Oh, sorry, I'm zoomed into the wrong part.
There you go.
And we are in Nortus currently.
You're,
Sorry, could you ping it again?
yes, Leidenford.
Oh, down there. Okay. What's the scale of this map?
There. The scale is in the lower lower left hand.
Aha.
I'll tell you now to save you time trying to decipher a map. It's a few hundred miles, and it's not the Roll20 tool. It's the best part of a 2-week journey.
So I'm guessing that would be a trip to Milestone by ferry or something like that.
Certainly, you could try and take the ferry. Let me see what you're talking about here. Go to Merston. Certainly,
yep.
you could get to Swooley and take the ferry, or you could go around on the land route. The ferry would certainly cut a few days off of the journey, but it's by hook or by crook still pretty far for land. I have a small kitty for you to pay some of your expenses should you choose to take the job. But anything beyond that comes out of your pay, since it's literally my entire remaining fortune. So I advise you spend wisely.
Now, if I remember the map correctly, there's a mountain range. Is there any pass through there? That seems to be a shortcut, but anyone familiar with that?
They're seasonal, as I recall from my days as a boy. There's some seasonal routes, but it's autumn now. There may be a few, but they're usually some creepy, crawly creatures lurking in those mountains, which the road tends to avoid. Not always, but tends to.
And do you provide any proof of that? I'm sure we can be trustworthy. I've only just met these gentlemen, but they look fine men. But do you require any proof of the demise of this fish?
Oh, of course. I'm not stupid. I've arranged a little insurance for myself. And he pulls out a box, a small box, maybe 6 inches wide and 5 inches across and 5 inches deep. It's just a small little thing. I've had a magic man enchant it so that it will only open if you coat it in the heart's blood of that accursed fish. What I want you to do is to pull the fragment of my father's knife out of its heart, put it in this box, then I will know the fish is dead. Then I can be buried with it and die in peace.
Just run that past me one more time.
You kill the... You're right, sorry. You kill the fish. You smear its heart's blood on the box, and that will open the box.
Okay.
The fragment of my father's knife, which remains in its heart beating still, you put that in the box, and you bring the box back to me, and I'll give you the money.
Okay.
Boone just sucks on his teeth and takes a deep breath and finishes his drink and nods and says, "All right, well, like you said, by hook or by crook, it's going to be a bit of a journey, so I'm for it." And he kind of like is side-eyeing and scooting a little bit away from the doctor.
So Dr. Glade takes off his mask, revealing his tabaxi face, and says, "Well, I've eaten a few fish in my time. Perhaps it's time there was a fair fight between me and a fish."
I think I've chosen no better person to fight a great fish than a great cat.
And I hold up my drink. Cheers to that.
Boone shrugs and
and I-
lifts his empty glass and looks at
Josh's
everybody else.
character indicates an enthusiasm.
Cricus will lean back and sip his cold coffee and slightly spit it out a little when he tastes how cold and nasty it is.
Yeah, it was not a nice cup of coffee.
You have me at 250 a piece for killing a fish, but any idea what kind of fish it is?
Catfish,
Okay.
but like a huge catfish.
Well, I assumed.
We're gonna need a bigger boat.
I don't
Underneath
understand
the
that
muscle.
reference.
It was a play I saw once. Never mind.
Oh, very good. I don't get out much. And he looks at Malin and he raises it. Malin stays stumm, clearly.
Malin's dead from drinking that water. Should have listened to Dr. Glade.
So can I ask Warren? It is Warren, isn't it?
It's Roran.
Right. So it's my feline lips. Sorry. So this fish, there's a festival there once a year. That we're not going to be killing some deity. What do the locals think of this fish, and how would they feel about some strangers turning up to kill this fish?
That's a good question. The folks of Lakenford they're good people. They're good people, but they're superstitious at best, and some are fanatical at worst. They of course adhere, and he kind of says it a bit too loudly, adhere to the state religion. But a lot of the, especially the older folks, think the fish is a river god. Codswallop and guff, I say. It's just a fish. And many others believe that it's also just an old fish as well. You won't encounter too much resistance to the idea that you want to hunt this fish. Many people have often tried. But it may not be wise to announce your true intentions to anyone before you're sure that they don't buy into the whole idea that this fish is something more than just a big fish. You know?
Okay. And what on the day of your father's death? How did he attract the attention of the monster. I mean, if we could somehow repeat that process, it would make our job easier.
Well, see, this is the thing. I've thought about that a lot over many, many years of my life, but unfortunately, I couldn't pinpoint exactly what it. We didn't want to summon the fish. We wanted just to fish for other fish, and yet somehow we managed to attract the wrong one. I would say more than what we did that day, I would look towards whatever they do for the festival. Something in that he usually shows up for. So something there is clearly a repeatable set of circumstances. But as I left the town when I was about 12, I wasn't very up on it. But the people of the town will know.
What, do you know when the next festival is? Would be too much to ask that it's soon.
Yes, no, I'm afraid the festival's just come and gone. Back in the end of the summer, and as you now know from the fact that you've been outside, it's coming into early autumn, and so you've missed it by about a month, maybe 2.
Shame. Oh well.
You couldn't have sent the letter a month or 2 earlier?
Some of you have come from very far away. I wanted to make sure that you had plenty of time, and you wouldn't do to kill a fish in front of a festival which honors a fish, would it? So perhaps it's best that you do this under cover of night. Or, in fact, not the festival, night being somewhat immaterial.
If you say so.
Malin! We
Yep.
still haven't heard from you.
I mean, I don't have a lot to say. How big is this fish?
20 feet at a stretch.
Big fish. I'm interested in seeing it.
I think it would make a most edifying experience.
I hear fish steaks go for quite the price in the fish markets. We could make a little extra money on this.
He sort of nods and takes a puff off his pipe.
All right, well, as far as I'm concerned, it sounds a bit settled. I'm going to go ahead and get a room. I'll see the rest of you at daybreak at the front of this. Quick question. Is this an inn as well as a bar?
They've got a few rooms, sure, but I don't know what's booked and what's not. You'd have to go talk to Gela.
Fair enough. Well then, tomorrow morning I'll meet the rest of you in front of this bar, the Beholder's. The Beholder's Eye, the Eye of the Beholder.
Eye of the Beholder.
Wonderful. I will be here tomorrow morning, and from there we can shop if we need to. We can get a move on.
I'm very pleased that you've all chosen to take up my cause, and he pulls out a sack of gold. Here is 200 gold pieces as an advance, and as a small, shall we say, a small pot of money that you can use for your expenses. The rest will be paid upon your return. Remaining 1,250 gold pieces as agreed. What I would just say is it'll take you about 2 weeks to get there, and about 2 weeks to get back, and I'll give you a week or two to do the deed. If you need longer, that's just fine. I will be here, this table, every Thursday night, from about 5 weeks from now, every week, until I croak, in the hopes that you return. So, call for me here on a Thursday night with the proof, and in about 5 weeks' time, or thereafter, and you'll get your payment.
Understood.
And he gives a nod. And then he puts the bag on the table, and he puts the box for the knife fragment on the table, and he takes his leave.
Well, if my math's correct, that's 40 gold a piece for us.
Sounds good to me. Now, are we going by land or are we going by sea?
I'd rather take the ferry.
I mean, as locals, what would we know? I mean, it looks like we can go down the Palmyra River to Bournemouth, perhaps. and then the road to Swoonley, ferry across to Murstone.
We
Yeah.
could ferry to Wolfwater, or couldn't we?
Well, looking at the ferry lines, there doesn't seem to be a ferry
Sea
to
routes
Wolfwater.
are
Oh.
marked. Major sea routes are marked in blue.
Okay.
Does the so there looks to be a swampy area below Bournemouth. Does any boats navigate that into the sea, or would we definitely need
The
to go?
delta is not currently serviced by most.
right.
There's you could probably try and find a way onto like barge, like a commercial barge, but there's no passenger service.
I mean, I guess we could maybe ask around town if anyone's travelling to Murstone. I mean, what would we know what kind of industry is at Murstone, and who we might want to go talk to who might be travelling that way anyway?
Merston is by and large an export center for the various natural resource mining that happens in that particular area. So there's a lot, as you can see, just to the east of there is the Great Mines of Plade. So those are the major resource extraction of precious metal and gems that happens in Skenesaw, which funds most of the world's demand for gems and metals. So because Merston has the docks in that region, in Perieg, they're by and large the ones that then export that both to Swooley and then on land to Notice and or to Tow and then up into other areas, by sea towards further areas down through Skenesaw, etc., etc.
And what happens in Swooley? I'm just wondering, the same kind of question. Could we catch a lift from anyone heading that way?
Swooley's another port town. Swooley is less of a natural resource mining place, and it's more fueled by the commerce that passes through it because it's the largest major town to both the Falloy Forest, which is a major source of timber, and Notice, which is obviously the capital. Very heavily guarded.
Okay. So perhaps finding somewhere in town where those industries might head that way, or even any kind of travel agency. Could ask Gala, the dwarf, ask Gala, the patron.
Mm-hmm.
What do you suggest, gentlemen?
I have no problem walking.
I don't mind walking, but I feel like it'd be easier or quicker to take a ride across the sea.
So I currently don't own a horse, and a 200-mile trek on foot.
340 miles, actually.
Yes.
I've walked all the way here. It's not a big deal.
Where did you walk from?
Way.
The
Oh,
most
okay.
western province. A distance of more than Notice to Leyden.
Well,
So
horses should only be around 40 gold pieces. Sorry. 50 gold pieces. On top of that, if we needed to bring anything, cart shouldn't be more than 15 gold. We got 40 gold right now on top of as my pockets. That doesn't leave us much for food to bring with us for the 2-week journey to get there, or the week journey to get there. So,
Food.
might be better off trying to catch a ferry with food included. What does that sound like?
Sounds good to me. I
I
mean,
won't be paying anything for food.
I didn't catch that. You won't be paying food because...
I have my own.
Okay.
Boone is curious how you would keep a week's worth of food on you once we squints a little, but then he's like, leaves it alone. he doesn't want.
As I say that, I'll reach into my pouch and take out a single berry, and I'll eat that.
Shoot.
Is that a good berry?
who's on board with the ferry?
Yeah, Dr. Glade would be happy to catch the ferry.
All right, so we got 2 for the ferry. Who else?
Yeah, I want the ferry.
Okay,
Malin?
ferry.
All right.
So we need to find some kind of travel agent.
I'm not quite sure because I don't have the map up, so I don't know exactly how many ferries we would take, or we would just travel by foot down the coast until we got to like the major port, so we could take it
So
all the way down from there.
looking at the map, we can catch. Well, if there's a river running all the way to a place called Bournemouth, and then there's a road heading slightly northeast from there to Swoonley, and then that's where the ferry route is from there to Murstone. And then once we get to Murstone, there's a long trek round to Langford. It doesn't look like there's any ferries round the coast.
Okay. Well, maybe we can just do a little bit of half and half, do that, and then walk the rest of the way, or...
Mhm.
All right. I'm okay with that. Dr. DM, do we know how much roughly that would be in this area, or would we just kind of take it by the ear?
Is that a question for me?
Yeah.
How much money that would cost?
Yeah, for each, for us to...
You would probably expect to pay maybe a gold piece to get down the river. Then you'd stay in Bournemouth. You'd pay whatever you wanted to find an inn. You'd walk to Swooley. That would take probably 2 days. You'd probably rest overnight in the forest or indeed by the road. That'd be free. Swooley, you get there in the middle of the day. You could then take a ferry to Merston. That would probably cost you a couple gold pieces. And then the rest of it would be on foot. And then you would just be camping. So obviously that's free. So I'd say you could probably expect to spend 5 gold pieces each on travel, period. Just for tickets and such. That's one way.
And how do you want us to role play this, Alex? Do you want us to go organise this travel, or are you happy for us to just agree?
No, I don't need you to go and have a whole sit down and discussion with your friendly neighborhood flight center representative. I'm happy for you to. There'd be regular river services between the various cities, and then when you get to Swooley, there'd be a pretty regular ferry service as well. It takes a few hours, but it's not like a whole day, so I think you could probably just buy a ticket when you get there.
Okay, so that's the plan Dr. Glade will put forward then. We'll catch a boat down the river to Bournemouth, hike or catch a lift if possible to Swooley, and then the ferry to Murstone and take it from there. How does that sound?
Sounds good.
Sounds good to me.
Very good. Well, is there anything else that you're going to be doing this evening, or do we kick off in the morning?
Well, perhaps we should have a few more drinks together and get to know each other, as soon as we're going to be spending several weeks together. So maybe everything we covered in the introduction of our characters, if the other characters would be willing to reveal that, I suppose you would cut that down to keep it to strangers. So I would maybe tell the group about my medical practice and my hope that adventuring, taking on this commission, would enable me to practice my medicine in different ways and gather new and interesting data about different species and perhaps medicinal plants I can find on the way.
That's an interesting point. Yeah. Boone, how much would you share what you've told your friends about your backstory? How much would you share here at this table?
I don't think he would be very forward about his pirating background. I think he would just say something along the lines of, I'm skilled with a pistol. I began with a crossbow, or I began with a longbow. Being an elf has me a bit keen in that department. Besides that, I tend to keep to myself. Family somewhere. That's about that. I shoot things good.
Anyone have any sailing experience? Would Boone admit to that, if that was a question?
I don't think sky ships translate well to
Sea ships.
sea ships.
Right.
No, it's a different
Different kind of pirating. Sorry. Yeah.
different kettle of fish. Skyfish.
In his second large pilsner, after hearing you say something like, "Does anybody have any skill in sailing?" and he'll kind of raise his eyes, like swallow what's in his mouth and go, on the water, and just kind of keep thinking.
So you're a doctor,
Yeah.
Dr. Glade?
Yes. I was just about to say, Dr. Glade, if he gets the chance at any point to discreetly say to Cricus, I notice you're shaking there a little.
Yeah, it's normal. So you come around a lot of substances, I assume.
If you by that you mean narcotics, no, I do not. Any drugs I do have or utilize are purely for the benefit of my patients.
Well, if I told you I benefited from narcotics, would you help me?
No.
All right. See how that is?
This is awesome.
It's gonna be
Wow, what great role playing.
However, there are certain chemicals that I may be able to help you with to wean you off whatever narcotic you may be using.
Nah,
I would be happy to help you.
No,
Thank
man,
you.
that ain't me.
The offer is there.
Maybe later. Maybe in the middle of our trip, I might need something. I'll be fine for now. Oh, and I'll probably reveal that I know magic, but I won't reveal that I'm a half elf. Or
How are you hiding the fact that you're half elf? Do you have something over your ears or
yeah, my hair and my hood.
hood? Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I wouldn't reveal very much. I'd just say I was from away and come along a long way. I'm just out trying to find my place in the world.
So Malin, you're not familiar with the area where we will be travelling to?
No, I'm from a long way to the west.
Okay.
Interested in seeing this catfish though.
Yes, intriguing. I've heard of creatures growing larger than they would normally. I'd be interested to study this beast to find why it has grown so large.
Well, we've got to kill it first.
Yes, a shame, but a job's a job.
It is what it is.
And think of all the money.
If we're strong enough to kill it, we'll manage. If not,
Yes, I do wonder if we should try to purchase some salt or something and preserve this fish and try to make a bit of money from this.
how are you planning on transporting this fish?
Yes, good question. Let's keep our options open. Maybe find a local merchant to sell this. Surely there must be some kind of industry down there for.
Alex, could I guess at the weight of a 20-foot catfish?
One moment, please. Because I now have to figure out how to weigh a catfish.
Yeah.
Totally in inches. Okay, I'm just going to do a linear distribution. Because That's
That doesn't seem to follow the rule of square math.
well, sorry, of a linear distribution of a real catfish's weight ratio.
Well, I'm looking at an 8.5 feet long catfish here that was 250 pounds. So
This is good because I found a 5 foot long catfish that was 108 pounds, which means that if I extrapolate that to 20 feet, I just have to multiply 4. You reckon it would be about 450 pounds, or what would that be? 210, 15 kilo? I don't know stone well enough.
If you want to transport that, that's around half a ton of fish we'd have to move. I say we eat it.
we eat it. I suspect a large bit of that'll be its head. Don't suppose we need to sell the head, and the guts we can throw back in the water. The tail.
Yeah, cut the tail off.
Anyway, let's answer that question when we get there. If there's a fish merchant willing to pay for the cat, for the flesh.
Okay.
So, Dr. Glade will wish everyone a good night. I'm going to return back to my practice and prepare to shut shop while I'm gone. See you in the morning.
See you more. And Boone takes his leave.
Yeah, I assume Kirkus will get a room here.
You do. You learn that a room here costs. What the hell is that happening? You learn that a room here costs 1 gold piece a night. So you spend a gold piece to stay the night. And in the morning you awake and find yourself in the daytime. It is the morning. It is maybe 9 o'clock, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock. What do you do? Welcome to the day.
So we've all met up back at the Eye of the Beholder.
I assume so, unless anyone has any objection to that.
No, I would like to shop at some point.
Well, I thought you'd shop immediately thereafter.
Right. I need to get some darts.
Boone saunters up and sees everybody. Oh, sorry.
No, it's alright, you go.
Yeah, he just saunters up and sees everybody and says, morning. We going out in town, we shopping, we need things.
Yeah. Doctor, you're from around here, aren't you?
Yes. Lived here my whole life.
Is there... I need I lost some darts on the way here, and I need to replace them. Where would you suggest?
Some darts. Okay. Let me have a look. This is Adam talking. Let me have a look at my map of my area of the city. So there's a... what's the name of the... Is there a name for the part of the city that you gave me, Alex?
No, not specifically. That was my own division, not a like a true organizational division of the city.
And where are we currently? Are we inside the walls or outside the walls?
You are currently... I should have put that in there. Let me pull up my own map of notice, and I'll tell you. So, so if you look at the division between the shaded section and section is, I don't know which one you've got or which segment you've got in particular, but you're in the western section of the city, southwestern section, inside the...
Okay, so so the part of the city that my practice in is in the northwest on a place called Mortuary Lane, and down inside the walls there's a place called the Workshop. The Workshop where there's all sorts of tinkerers and manufacturers, and I'm sure that we could be able to find someone, if they're not selling darts, be able to manufacture some in that area. Yeah, so I would recommend that.
Okay. Well, that's what I need to do. Does anybody else need to shop?
I think I'm good. I could go read up on catfish if we want to know more about this giant fish.
Again, in my part of the city, there's a place called the Market Garden. Lots of traders selling various food and things like that. We could maybe find a fishmonger, ask him for
Yeah,
any
I'll go with you then.
how to catch a catfish.
I'll join you guys in doing that as well.
Oh, and just down the road from the workshop, there's a place called Traders as well, which is a giant, great bazaar. It might be possible to buy the darts there. They sell everything there. So they're my recommendations.
Okay, thank you very much.
Very good, very good.
I might warn the group, like, if you're coming with me to the Market Garden, we'll have to pass through some very poor areas. Lovely people, but wary of strangers, so stay close and let me do the talking if required.
So what are you going for? What's the plan?
Not Puss in Boots.
So, did you say we're inside the city at the moment? Inside the walls?
You're inside the walls of the city.
Alright, so if we head to... I'll take... Sorry, Judd, what's your character's name?
Malin.
If I take Malin to the Traders Bazaar.
Mal for short.
Take Mal to there, and then...
Malin.
and then we can head northwest through the wall and up to the Market Garden.
Yep, let's go with me.
Okay.
So what are you looking to buy? I'm just in the interest of time. We don't need to
Just
RP
need-
all
I just
this
need
shopping, but
10 darts.
you easily find them at Dr. Glade's recommended place.
Thank you.
Anybody else buying anything from the bazaar while we're there?
Nope, I'm good. Don't have much gold to spend.
Okay. Looks like you're setting off.
Yep. No, Boone's good to go. He's just planning on hunting while he's out. Just while they're walking or doing whatever. If they're on a ferry, if they're in the town, he'll just buy a few rations for the time they'll be on the ferry.
Sure.
Dr. Glade will slip Cricus a small vial of a liquid and tell him that, if things become bad and you get the shakes too much, can't function, put a drop of this on your tongue.
A drop? Just a drop?
Just a drop.
I'll down the whole thing.
Right now.
Right now. It's bad.
What happens, Adam?
It was a placebo, but Dr. Glade will God, man, you'll be passed out. Spit it out.
What is it?
It's a concoction of my own making. You'll be high as a kite and dysfunctional.
It tastes just like water.
Well, it's not. Trust me.
Boone is literally I think he's 2 steps ahead of maybe walk, and he's just keeping an ear out This is he's loving this. He's loving it. This is way more fun than he thought it was going to be.
Well, do you have anything that's going to get me down from this?
Well, let's see how your body takes it first, and we'll deal with that later.
Okay, sounds good. And I imagine he'll just like kind of like twitch his neck a little bit as he gets done talking.
So, can we speak to the fishmonger? Get any advice from the fishmonger?
Yeah, you find a portly-looking fishmonger before on your way out of town. He's selling all kinds of fish. What do you want?
Oh, yes, just a little bit of advice about catfish. Know much about catfish?
Catfish. He's sort of looking around. Yeah, we've got catfish here. What kind of advice? It's lovely with a lemon sauce.
Oh, yes, that sounds delicious. We're hoping to go catfish fishing ourselves. Any advice on how to catch one? And we could bring you some back for your advice.
It's always a good seller. I don't catch it myself. I just buy it. I fish myself on the weekends and this, but never catfish. Mostly eels in the river. Anyway, but yeah, I'm glad to buy any catfish you've got going. It's fresh.
Okay, but no advice on how to. Nothing you've heard from your suppliers.
I'll tell you how to gut it. You run a knife down it. I tell you all kinds of things on how to prepare it. But I don't fish it myself now. You need a fisherman for that, and I am in fact a fishmonger.
I know how to cut things open. A bit of an expert, but okay. Good to know you're.
Sounds like you've got it all set.
Okay, that wasn't what I was after. Okay, well, thanks for your time.
Oh, right, yeah.
I guess.
What exactly are you looking to know about?
How to attract one. We need to catch this thing. We don't want to be spending weeks never seeing this thing and never surfacing. Just hoping for some advice of how to actually get it to the surface. It could be lurking at the bottom of the lake for months, docile. Might not even be interested in food this time of year.
Alex, would I know how to catch a cat?
I think the only way you ever learned how to catch a catfish was knee-deep in water and you fucking pluck it out of the river like you're in Mulan.
Okay. Can I grab someone's foot and lift him up?
You can. You did when you were back in the forest.
Awesome. I grew up to be a man.
You were a man.
Yeah. I'm gonna be swift as the Costume River.
That's your character call now.
Yeah. I've caught catfish before, but usually we just pluck them out of the river. It's not something we just put a lot of effort into. Nothing that big.
Let's hope you're right.
I mean, I am right. I've done it. This is how we fish at home.
I think plucking.
You fish for 20-foot catfish at home?
No, I said I've never done it with a 20-foot catfish. Do you people listen?
Not particularly.
I've never done it with a large, anything this large. But we've caught catfish before.
So, pretty much just telling us that you don't know how to do this in a roundabout long way?
Yeah, that's what I said.
Okay, thanks for the advice.
It's okay, I'm here to help.
Realistically, shouldn't we be able to ask people on the river, especially once we start getting close to those kind of lands? I imagine people around the surrounding areas eat the catfish as well.
Yeah.
Let's just do that.
Bit of local knowledge. Let's hit the road. Or hit the river.
Fine by me.
Okay. You hit the river, Jack, and the way we're gonna do this is a little bit different to what we've done in the past. Just in the interest, again, of time and space. So you begin to make your way down. You find a ferry quite easily in the town in Notice, and you take it to the town of Bournemouth, and you each pay 2 gold pieces. Sorry, 1 gold piece. You rest overnight in Bournemouth, and you camp out there. You stay in an inn, which also actually, unless anyone has an objection to staying in an inn, does anyone come up with a different way of staying?
No, happy to stay in an inn.
I would prefer to sleep outside, but I don't mind doing it in an inn.
I mean, you could easily sleep on the streets. It's just, the streets. It's not like a...
No, I mean outside the city, but if I'm inside, I will.
I see. It's not really a city so much as it's a decently sized city. But you may find some green space to kick your feet up. And that costs another gold piece. You then begin to make your way from Bournemouth towards Swooly. And as you go, you find yourselves walking down this, just the road, just walking down the dirt road. And coming up the other way, you see a wagon, and it's guarded by these 5 chaps. And at the helm of the wagon is a man, a portly-looking gentleman, and he draws his horses, which are not depicted here. He draws his horses to a stop, and then also stop, and he calls out to you, and he says, "Oh, hello there."
Hello there. Good afternoon. Good morning. What time is it?
Yes. Good.
Good day.
Good morning. Good day. Hello. It's good to see you here on these roads. It's not many that we come across visitors. I'm just taking some goods to Bournemouth to sell. You wouldn't be in need of any ladies' clothes, would you?
What size?
No.
It's all sizes, sir.
Let me see your wares.
What'd you say?
Let me see your wares.
And he says, certainly, come round. And he dismounts off of the thing, and he pushes one of the men guarding the thing aside, and he goes around to the back of his wagon and opens it up and says, come round, I'll show you."
You can bring it to us.
Oh no, I've got a whole wagon full of things here, you see. I couldn't possibly.
And it takes...
Boone kind of walks up next to... I'm sorry, Trevor, what's your character's name?
Cricus.
Boone walks up to Cricus and puts his left hand on his shoulder and says, let's go back there. I got your back. But just to be honest with you, I got a bad feeling about this guy. Can you hold yourself in a fight?
Not up close. I'm not going back there.
All right, you stay here. And then I look over to the doctor. Hey, Doc, let's go check these things out, yeah?
Okay, I'll go with you. So maybe as we're passing the guards over there,
Mm-hmm.
how's the road been? We're on our way to Swooly. Any trouble? I'm sure.
Answers you. The guards just sort of pick their teeth. And the portman says, "Oh, fine.
Uh-oh.
Haven't encountered any trouble
Boone,
yet."
under Boone's poncho, he puts his on his pistol and
Mhm.
unlatches the leather strap that keeps it holstered.
Okay.
Yeah, I think Dr. Glade will ready in action and just have maybe unbutton the inside pocket of his waistcoat where he keeps his scalpel. And just have that ready.
I apologize. I really must apologize for all these men. I heard so many stories about people getting attacked and getting their things stolen on the way to notice highwaymen and all of that. So I thought a little extra security would help beef it up, if you will. But look, come, and he shows you as you now round the back of the wagon. He shows you this wagon. It's filled to the brim with very fine ladies' clothes.
About what sizes are they?
There's all sizes.
Like small ones?
Like little ones, like there's halfling and dwarf sizes. gnome sizes, and then there's also like human sizes and a variety of different ones. There's even a
Okay.
dragonborn dress or two.
As he's telling us about like people getting robbed on the road,
Mm-hmm.
he's gonna say, "Oh yeah, you know, it's a good idea. You're keeping this guard with you. You don't want anything bad happening to you." I want to ask you a quick question. How'd you come
Sure.
across these? How'd you come across these clothing?
Clearly, I'm from the wholesalers, of course. I take it to notice, and then I sell it on and mark it up. Over in Swooley, you see, we get many imports, and I have a warehouse, and I help to transport goods back and forth every so often. Normally, I have one of my employees do it, but unfortunately, he was sick today, so I have to do it.
I'd like to do an insight check on how he acquired the women's clothing.
Okay. Go ahead and make that insight check.
It's the first roll of the new campaign.
Hey.
Way!
That's a 7.
You have no reason to believe that he is lying.
Okay. Yeah, these clothes don't look too bad. You mind if I touch them? See the find?
Of course, please. Have whatever you'd like. Are your hands clean?
So he Boone kind of looks over at gosh, I'm so sorry. What's your character's name? The doctor. Yeah,
Dr. Glade.
There. So he looks over at Dr. Glade and says, and he doesn't say anything. He just like looks over at him, gives him a look like, you know, got my back, and I'm just gonna stick my non-poncho hand in the cart and just kind of rumble around and just kind of move a few things around and just kind of make a perception of what I see in there.
Can you make a... What'd you say? Can you make a what?
A perception check just to see like what if I see anything or an investigation.
Yeah, you can roll investigation on the thing. You're gonna find ladies' clothes.
I don't know. Maybe he's hiding something.
10. You find ladies' clothes.
More ladies' clothes.
More ladies' clothes. You find a section of pantyhose.
Boone blushes a skosh and takes his hand back and nods and starts making his way back. And as he starts to walk, he looks over and says, "Doc, you good?"
I'm good.
All right.
Oh, I'm sorry you didn't find anything you wanted. You there, sir, the Mr. Elf there. Yes, you. I think you look quite elven. I don't know. You're sort of shorter. But either way, do you want to see these ladies' clothes? Talking to Crickets.
Oh, okay. I was like, no, I don't.
Oh, all right. Never mind. I thought you did. Well, if there's nothing else, gentlemen, then me and my associates will just be on our way.
And I'll move out of the way.
Cheerio.
And let him-
And they begin to move down the street. Oh, Josh. Standing in the middle of the road. Crickus, they're going to start passing you. Make a perception check.
Okay. Dang it, I accidentally closed that. 19.
You can tell, you know a few things. You can tell that these guards are... The man seems to be on the up and up. The guards seem to be shifty. And you think you might recognize one from a different time in your life when you know that people would often go and be hired as guards, but then rob the goods that were being transported instead of having highwaymen do it.
And the guard, like, where will I know him from? Like a city or something?
Yeah, from just the city, having some beers, and you know, it's just like you remember someone saying that was a thing that people did, was like you get hired as a guard and then you just rob the guy because they think they're, you know, because then they're completely unprotected, because they think that you're protecting them. And you're getting that like vibe from them now. You're like
Okay.
you're recalling that, and there's a reason you're like reading their movements.
I will stop him and say, "Hey, don't I recognize you?"
And the guard nearest you says, "I don't know what you mean. No, I don't think we've ever met before."
Yeah, I've seen you before.
Boone walks up over.
Yeah, I remember I've had a few beers with you, and you were telling me about how you just got hired by a merchant and then robbed him blind.
And he's starting to like. He looks a little put out, and his hand starts like going towards his dagger, and the other guys are looking kind of like shifty, and they're saying, "No, I don't think remember talking to you about that. I think you're mistaking me for someone else."
Right when Boone Boone see him going for his dagger, he would immediately pull out his pistol and tell him to drop it. I don't see you trying to do anything shifty here, buddy. It's just you take your hand off that dagger.
And the guy goes, "Oh dear, are you some sort of highwayman?"
Not us, merchant, but your so-called guards plan on killing you and taking your wares.
What, my guards? They've protected me for the last few hours. Why would they do it now?
Because you're alone.
And the head guard goes, "Hey, listen, buddy. I think you just need to keep your business to yourself and let us get on with ours. Understand?"
And on that, I will cast Shatter.
Oh, damn.
Right here, where it would hit the three front guards.
What's the range?
Um,
Or the area of effect, I should say?
10 feet. So if I can hit all three of them, if not just two.
You can hit all three of them if you put it there.
They must make a Constitution saving throw. Or hold on, this real quick.
Hang on, and I will tell you what it is. How about that? So they make Constitution saving throws, and we get a 14, 13, 4.
Okay, and my spell save DC is 14.
So 1 success and 2 failures.
All right, and I'll say no. I don't think I will let you be on your way.
And what happens when they fail?
They fail. They take 3d8, and if it's half as much, if they succeed.
So roll your 3d8 if you would.
14.
Okay. So that's 14, and 7. Okay, everybody roll initiative.
12.
Ooh.
Hey, first nat 20. Let's go. Can you guys hear your own echoing off my...
No, I can't.
No.
No.
Okay, I'll stop muting then.
I think we were only wanting you muting when you were typing.
Doing shit.
Clickety fucking blackety.
Okay, let's see. So got a lot of bloody initiatives to roll, so that's 2.
It seems that Adam and Mike's initiatives were switched.
Why's that?
Because Adam rolled a 20 and Mike rolled a 15, but on the turn order it had it backwards.
Oh, it's because I typed it wrong.
Oh, I thought it was something with the system.
It only pre-fills it automatically if you click the init button on your character sheet.
Oh,
and everything else is like linked and good. So here we go. First in the order is Krikas.
Alrighty, I will cast Eldritch Blast on the gentleman closest to me.
Okay, you go for it.
Alright, let's see. I'm still trying to learn how to do this.
That's what our first session is for.
14, and I don't know. Do I add anything to that for mages?
Your spellcasting ability and your proficiency.
Oh, okay. So plus 2, and then plus 6. So
yeah,
20.
You hit
All right,
unequivocally.
cool. And then that's a 1d10. 3 points of damage.
Oops. Okay, 3 points of damage. And we move on to Dr. Glade.
Okay. Dr. Glade will move forwards to here and take a slice at this guy with his scalpel.
Nice.
Here we go. 22.
That's a hit.
And I will use my skill. What's it called? Deep incision. So if I get a successful attack action on a successful hit, the target takes the normal damage and suffers bleeding for a number of turns equal to your intelligence modifier. So he takes 8 piercing, and I've opened up a vein, so my intelligence modifier is 1. So,
Okay, so the next turn he will suffer some bleeding damage. I'll come
Yep,
back to you and
yep,
you can tell me
okay.
what that is. Next in the order is this guy who is going to pull out his heavy crossbow and shoot it at Boone. That is going to be a... Oops. That is going to be a 10 to hit.
Nope, does not hit.
His shot goes wide. Next in the order is this guy, who's just been sliced up by Dr. Glade. He's going to pull out a mace. He's got a big old mace. And then he's going to try and hit you with that mace in retaliation. And 19 to hit.
Yeah, that hits.
So that's going to be 3 points of damage.
Okay.
Next in the order, we've got this guy, who's also... He's going to pull out a mace and he's going to run over at Boone and try and hit him with it. That's 8. And now it's Malon's turn.
Okay, I will cast Shillelagh.
Nice.
I'll run over and clobber the first one. I'll get this one, I guess. Yeah, so I'll run there and I will just hit him.
Mm-hmm.
Which is D20. It's been a while. 8 plus 6, I believe. Oh, plus 5, so that'll be 13 to hit.
13 to hit. That's a hit.
Cool. So that'll be 1d8 3. 11 damage.
Okay.
And then with my other hand... Oh no, I won't because I've used my bonus action. Right. That is me.
Okie doke. Next we have this guy who's going to be running over at Krickus, since you just like fucked up his whole day. And that's going to be a bad 6 to hit, which is no dice. Finally, we've got this guy, and he's going to come and do the same.
And before he rolls, can I cast Misty Step as my reaction? Whenever he gets close to me.
Yeah, he runs over, and now you've got two guys in front of you, and you can trigger your reaction. Next time, is it a prepared action, or is it as a reaction?
Reaction.
Okay. Yep, go ahead.
So I just cast that, and I can move 30 feet, so 5, 10.
Yeah, there you go.
I'll move there.
And he gets perplexed and moves to chase you, but he can't run that fast. Next in the order is Dr. Glade.
Oh, did I go?
You did, didn't you? Oh no, you didn't. No, you're next. Oh wait, how did that happen? No, you're right. Sorry, something happened with the order. You're go now, Boone. And you'll go in the next order properly.
Okay. Boone is going to
You went for robot.
I'm a robot. Hold on. Oh. Is this any better?
That's a bit better.
Okay. I'm moving a bit, so this should be a little better. So yes, Boone is going to he's going to take an action to disengage and move 1, 2, 3, 20 over here, and he's going to action surge and pull out his pistol and shoot at this guy right here.
Okie dokie.
And here goes. Pull this out. Uh, 12.
That hits.
All right. 7 piercing damage.
Okay. You shoot him through the left shoulder.
And that's that.
Okay. Next is Dr. Glade. Doctor.
Sorry, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes. I will use my cunning action to disengage and move up to this guy.
Okay.
Because he's got an enemy within 5 feet of him, that allows me to do sneak attack.
Yep, he's engaged with Malin and with Boone, so you can sneak him.
So I will use my scalpel with sneak attack, which gives me advantage. 16.
Yes, very good.
Doing 9 from the sneak and 5 piercing, so 14 in total.
You get the drop on him, and you manage to nick his carotid, and he collapses in a moment, dead.
Nice. And then I'll use the rest of my movement, so that's 10, to go up behind the merchant and say, listen here, old chap. It seems you've got in with some bad uns. We're trying to help you here. It might look like we're murdering your guards, but I believe my friend, these guys have got it in for you.
And he shrieks and begins to pull the cart away.
Can I react and try and clamber on?
Yes, you can. Make a dexterity check.
Okay. Like acrobatics or something? Yeah, acrobatics.
Yeah, do an acrobatics check.
7.
You leap and you make it an extra 10 feet, and the cart moves away without you.
Damn.
Next in the order is Cricus.
All right, I will move here. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. Here and cast Eldritch Blast on this guy.
Okie dokie.
And so. Alright, so that's a 19 to hit.
Okay. That hits.
Alright. And then 2 plus. I forgot I had Agonizing Blast as one of my invocations. And it just adds my charisma modifier. So that's 6 points of damage.
Okay. On that guy, 6 points of damage. Okie dokie. Next in the order is this guy. This guy is going to run over towards Malin. He's going to try and... He sees his buddy died, and he's like, no, Peter! And gets a nat 20.
Oh.
Oh shit.
And so that's going to be...
And he
9
gets
and 4 is 13 points of damage. As he smacks you right in the head with a mace.
Instantly dead.
Dead?
Dead.
Or
Oh.
unconscious?
Dead.
How many points did you have?
11.
So you're unconscious.
It's more than my max HP, so it should be instantly dead.
No, it's not more than your negative max HP.
It's got to be doubled. So what's your max HP?
Is that not the rule? Am I?
Yeah, no,
I
that's
mean,
the rule.
Judd knows the rules. But-
I mean, I will double check.
Judd, you only have 11 HP?
I'm
Like
level
max?
Why are you level 1? We're level 3.
what? Oh, are we?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, right, in that case.
Jesus.
Right. Problem solved.
Christ.
To be fair, I didn't know we were level 3, Alex, until you told me. Like, I thought we were starting at level 1.
No. Who starts at level 1?
I mean, I feel like most people.
Amateurs.
Right, okay. Okay. So that's 8 plus 3, which is 11, which gives me 21. Right, okay. Problem solved. What did you do? 13 points of damage?
13.
Right. Okay. So I now have 8 health. Okay.
Okay.
Continue. Sorry about that.
Next in the order is Mr. Bleedy. So what happened to him there, Adam? What's
He takes 1d8 bleeding damage.
Do you want to roll that for me?
Yeah, I'll roll that with pleasure. 8.
Oh.
Nice. Yeah, he is still bleeding. He manages to stagger over towards Malin. And he has a mace, but he's really not trying very hard. He's just trying to he's fueled by mostly adrenaline. He gets a 12.
12 equals my armor class. That's a hit.
Oh god damn, you really this is bad news for you. That's 5 points of damage.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Next in the order is Boone Marlowe.
Boone Marlowe. He sees Malin getting accosted by these men, and he's going to he's going to hit this guy here. He's going to shoot him with his pistol, but he's also going to expend a grit point and do a dazing shot.
Mm-hmm.
So the dazing shot, my save DC for trick shots is 15. So he has to make. Oh, let's see if I actually hit him first. Let's try that.
Probably a good shot.
With my pistol. Skip. Hey, shut up.
Yes.
Okay. So an 11 hits.
Yes.
Okay. So he gets 9 points. So he takes normal damage.
Yep.
I'm attempting to dizzy the opponent. On a hit, the creature suffers normal damage and must make a Constitution saving throw or suffer disadvantage on attacks until the end of their next turn.
He fails.
Wonderful. So
But he's
9
no
points
longer-
damage, and he's all confused.
That's exhausted.
This guy here.
Oh, whoops. Took points from wrong guy. 9 points of damage, and he is now confused. Use. That one, I guess. Okay. Okay. Next is this. Oh, he's dead. Malin.
Alright, let's fucking do this. I will transform into a brown bear.
Yeah.
Well, I wanted to do last turn, however, no one was level 3.
Dr. Glade will just go, fascinating.
I will let out a roar and, yeah, become into brown bear, and I will take 2 swipes at...
Is that a large creature?
Yes, it is a large beast.
Right. There we go.
Swish. Love it.
What do you call Malin? All right, you are now a brown bear.
Right. I will bite this fella.
Okay.
The one on the right is dead, yeah?
This guy is dead, yes. This
one's
guy
dead.
is
What's
not
this
dead.
symbol? Sorry, I didn't read it. I can't see them.
That's a little skull and crossbones.
No, what's the one on the left? Sorry.
Oh, it's his confused symbol. I didn't know if there was a better
no,
one.
that's okay. I needed to zoom in. Right, well, the middle guy, I'll take a bite at him then. Which will be...
Okay.
1d8. Oh, d20. That'll be...
Is a bear bite only 1d8?
Yeah, but he gets 2 attacks.
Ah, I
Yeah,
see.
it's 24, which I imagine hits.
That's a hit.
Yeah. Alright. 1d8. 5 plus 4, 9 damage to him.
Okay.
And then I will claw him,
Okay.
which will be 14 to hit.
Yeah.
And then 9 more damage.
Okay.
Ah!
He is eviscerated and collapses dead.
Ah! That's all I wanted to do this campaign. I'm done, boys. See you later.
All right. See ya.
Yeah.
Good playing with
It's
it.
been good.
This guy goes next, and he's gonna run over to a Dr. Glade who's dusting himself off after a less than successful fall while trying to catch a carriage. And he's going to try and hit you with his mace. He makes an attack for 23.
Yes, that hits. How dare you?
And that is 6 points of damage. He's followed in short order by this guy who is going to run away from his companion, or from Cricket, and run over towards Dr. Glade because he feels like that's a better chance for him. And he's also going to swing at you with his mace now that you've just been conked, and he also gets 23.
Shit.
But he only does 3 points of damage. Cricus is now back up at the top of the order.
All right, I will attack this guy again.
Okay,
So let's see if this works. Ooh, it does. 19.
that sure does.
And then, oh no, that's not what I wanted to do. Those are some good rolls, though. 19 and nat 20.
Mm-hmm.
I was trying to do it so it does the attack from the character sheet, but it doesn't seem to be working. That's 8 points of damage.
On which one? Can you highlight him again?
This one, the one directly to the right.
Okay. Yeah,
Of Dr.
he
Glade.
looks pretty bad. Dr. Glade, you're up.
Okay. I will. I'll use my bonus action, cunning action, to disengage
Mhm.
and attack this guy. Again, using sneak attack because he's within
Yeah, he's dazed,
5
so
feet. And I will use my scalpel, doing a deep incision.
you have advantage on this roll.
Yep. 24.
Yep, that's a hit.
So that's 8 from sneak, 6 from piercing, and he'll have bleeding for 1 round.
He will not have bleeding. He collapses dead on the ground as you open a vein, and he bleeds out.
Fascinating.
He's dead. He's also dead. Next in the order is Boone Marlowe.
Boone. He is going to holster his pistol, and let's see if he can actually 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35. Nope, he cannot make it over there. So he's going to holster his pistol, and he's going to pull out his longbow, and he's going to fire at this guy here.
Okie dokie.
And here goes longbow.
Hit,
11.
hit.
And yapow. 6 points of piercing.
Okay, this guy is hanging on by a thread.
And then Boone's going to spit on the ground and say, "You're not worth the shot."
He takes a single point of psychic damage from the insult. Next is this guy. He's the healthiest looking of the bunch, and he's going to stand in front of his buddy and ready in action. Next is the guy behind him, who is going to cough blood on the ground and not do much. Cricus, you're top of the order.
All right. Well, I guess I'll keep doing the same thing. I'll hit the guy ready in an action though.
Yep.
And ooh, that's a nat 1.
That is our first nat 1
Yay.
this campaign.
Wah, wah, wah.
Wah, 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 wah. Let's see what we're gonna do. Go ahead, boyo, and roll me a D100.
That would be 10.
10 on your D100.
Yeah.
Okay. Your attack, you point your finger and nothing comes out. Yep. Dr. Glade is next.
Well, this is embarrassing.
You say that
Yeah.
as you open your mouth, an enormous 30-foot cone of flame jets out for 6 seconds and then dissipates. But unfortunately, because you are more than 30 feet away, no one is harmed.
Did I just turn into a dragon?
It doesn't happen once you speak again.
Dr. Glade turns to him and said, "That, my friend, is why drugs are bad."
I don't know. Breathing fire seems pretty good.
I will rush forwards. But I'll hit this guy with my scalpel. Don't have sneak attack this time. Doing 9. No, I don't. Sorry, that's a miss, isn't it? 9, I'm guessing.
That is a miss.
So then I'll use my bonus action to disengage, and so that was 10, 15, 20. I'll go stand over here by the bear.
Smart. Next in the order is this guy. He still has his action ready. He wasn't able to execute it once you were too flips and shit. But he's standing there waiting. This guy bleeds out and he dies. Next is where'd Malin go in this order? Oh, it's because he's a bear now. Right, Mal, it's your turn.
Sweet. Who's still alive? Just this one.
It's just this guy.
Well,
Yes, that guy.
Then I shall move to him, and I shall bear him to death.
Ah!
Ah! I'll do 2 attacks. That'll be an 11 and a 19.
For both attacks, both hit.
Yeah. Oh, cool. That'll be 1d8. That'll be 5 plus. Oh my god, we're gonna have to keep these bears handy. That's 4, I think. Yeah, so that'll be 9 damage.
Okay.
First, and then.
Oh, you've got your exploding dice there.
Yeah, I'm gonna turn it off in a second. And then 6, 12, 16.
You maul him to death. His face falls off.
And when he goes down, I'm gonna just crunch on his face.
You do. It explodes.
Dr. Glade comes for a closer look at that. Oh.
Boone comes up over here and tries to harvest his arrow out of the guy he shot.
You do.
Okay. He's going to take out 50 feet of hempen rope, and he's going to drag him to the tree over here and find a low hanging branch.
Oh god.
Mm-hmm.
He's then going to take a he's gonna grab a piece of bark off this and mark it and it's gonna say highwaymen right here, highwaymen's fate, and put it around his neck, and actually he's gonna just lean him up against this rock right here.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep my rope. Well, some of it. I'm gonna use some of it to put it there.
Gnarly. Okay.
What? There's playing cards?
Oh,
Yeah,
I
wait,
got a
who's-
nat one.
Who's dicking around with playing cards?
That was me.
Oh.
Trying to find dice options, and I can't.
Stop it.
Dr. Glade would like to ask Malin, does it hurt when you transform like that?
I am a bear, and therefore don't understand what you're saying.
You shortly transform back from a bear into a man.
Does that hurt?
I can stay for 3 hours, but I will transform back.
Oh, sorry.
No, it's right. I'll just stretch and say, nope.
We didn't even do Josh's
It
character.
hurt him, though.
You're right, we
Yes,
didn't. But I kind of did that on purpose.
Oh, I didn't know if you just forgot about him up there. 'cause we
No,
hadn't spoken.
he ran over into a tree and was piping a merry tune.
Boone looks over to Marin and says, I'm familiar with those abilities. We have quite a few people where I'm from that can do similar things.
I've met some myself.
Are you part of a circle?
Not currently.
Okay. And he just throws his harvested after he's done like rubbing and cleaning the blood off of the arrow. He puts it back in his quiver and slings his longbow back over his shoulder.
Excuse me, DM.
Yes?
I do not have control of my token.
Oh, well, we better fix that.
Also, I'd like to rummage through all the dead guys and see if they have anything of value.
Should be good to go now.
Yeah, I am. I'm just gonna when he asked me if I was part of the circle and I responded, I just started like walking off to the side of it.
Okay.
Just get him up there.
You loot them, and you find 20 gold pieces amongst them, and a dagger and a short sword, and a mace.
I'll take the 20 gold pieces.
And would I see him take the short sword or find the short sword?
You were looting around, unless he made. Did you make an effort to conceal that, Krikos?
No. No,
I'm gonna look over to him and be like, "Hey, Crickets, you mind if I get a hand on that short sword?"
It's all yours, buddy.
Appreciate it. I'm gonna take off the gentleman's sheath and belt accessory and clean his sword as much as I can and have a short sword.
I'm not even gonna go there. Okay, great. You add a short sword to your inventory.
Well, thank you guys for having my back there, but I had definitely seen that one before, and I know they're kind. They would just kill that poor merchant.
I mean, I don't see why it was any effort of ours. You're stupid enough to hire.
I mean, could earn us some goodwill in the future.
I do worry that merchant now thinks we've murdered his guards. And we're trying to rob him.
Yeah, I'm sure it'll be fine.
I mean, we can. Well, I can catch him up. Someone can catch him up if they wish.
Can a bear catch him? I don't know. That's.
Anything, mate, but I wasn't thinking of a bear.
I think he'll be more nervous if we come running after him, if he thinks we killed his guards.
I mean,
At the end of the day, I think we all know that we saved him a bit of trouble and maybe even his life. Whether or not he knows that is besides the point.
Well, I mean, we did just murder 5 people, which is not an issue for me. You know, I don't really live in a city, but I imagine 1 or 2 of you are going to want to go back to your normal lives.
Boone just takes a deep breath and starts to move the rest of the dead bodies around the other one with the sign on them.
Nice. You arrange them all.
Yeah.
And with little more to do, are on your merry way.
Yay.
Ooh, the map.
You continue your journey. You camp overnight and are relatively is in an unremarkable space. You head to Swooley and you manage to catch a ferry to Merston. It costs you 2 gold pieces apiece and takes a better part of a day. By the time you get out of Merston and pass through the neighboring town of Wolfwater, neighboring city of Wolfwater, it is nearly the end of the day, but you crack on and you make it to your final camping spot, which is here. Someone needs to stop eating Tic Tacs so loudly.
I'm so sorry. It was my dice.
It's always you. And the last thing, you pull up to this campsite, and you pitch your tent. You light your campfire, and you come on, stupid shit. There we go. And you make camp, and you discuss, I think, how to set the watch. Who's first?
I let the group know. As an elf, I'm sure you all know, but I don't sleep like the rest of you. I just need about 4 hours of rest, so I can take the first 4 hours of watch. And if anybody else wants to accompany me, they're welcome. And then the last 4 hours, I'd request to be able to meditate.
Dr. Glade would let them know as a tabaxi. He has dark vision, so he'd be probably best suited to take one of the darker shifts.
I've no issue having a watch. I'll take the last one then.
All right, job done. You begin to pass the night. It's relatively unremarkable. Each of you sits up and watches things. That's how the watch works, right?
I just watched things so good with a nat 20.
You're the watchiest one. And at the towards the end of the night, you see this little goblin, and you can see him like lurking in the trees. And he's like skirting on the outside of your the bright light of your campfire.
Who's on watch?
You are. Boom.
Oh, me.
Oh. I thought you said
I'm gonna stand up and have my my longbow drawn and say, "Creature, make yourself known. What are you doing here?"
And he kind of creeps into the light, and you see that he's got this like raggedy little loincloth, and he's very emaciated. And he says, I was just hoping I could get some food. And he holds out 2 little copper pieces.
I'd like to make an insight check.
Mm-hmm.
15.
Yep. He seems very hungry.
Okay. Take a deep breath and lower my my longbow, and I say, "Put your coin down and take a seat. Come here."
And he kind of tucks it back into his loincloth. He's got like a little pouch. And he comes over towards you.
All right. I imagine he takes a seat down. I pull out a few rations, dried meat, dried fruit, and I give him about a day and a half, a day and a half's worth of food, and I ask him, where'd you come from?
I've been in this area for some time. My family was killed by a great beast, and I'm homeless, and now I'm just looking for a meal.
How long have you been homeless? When did your family die?
Oh, maybe a month ago.
A month. What's your name, friend?
Me, I'm Grabs.
Grabs. All right.
Yeah.
Well, it's nice to meet you, Grabs. My name's Boone.
Hello. And he kind of gives a nod.
Are you injured?
No, just very hungry.
All right. Well, who's next on the watch?
Next on the watch is Dr. Glade.
Okay. When it comes time for him to take the watch, I walk over and I gently shake him awake and let him know that there's a goblin in the campground, but he seems fine. He seems straight up and down. I don't think he's lying about anything. He's just a little hungry. You might want to take a look at him in his physical state if you have anything that might help him out.
Okay, yes, of course. What's his
His
name?
name's Grab.
Grab. Grab, may I... I'm a doctor. May I offer my assistance?
Thank you, yes.
And before I go to bed, I lean over, I roll over and I say, Grabs, you got any friends in the area?
No, they're all dead.
So you're all by yourself?
It's just me.
All right. Well, if you don't mind, you ever heard anything about a giant catfish?
No.
Fair enough. And I just roll over and I go to sleep.
So, can I do a medical check or something like that?
Yeah, you can. Go ahead and make medicine check.
What do I get? 13.
Yep, you see he's severely malnourished, but otherwise appears to be in one piece.
Nothing a good meal won't fix. or a healing potion. Maybe I'll make him something to eat, and maybe using my herbalism kit, start to work up a couple of healing potions.
Well, thank you. Thank you. And then you feel the ground shudder. Boom.
Would I
Boom. And Grabs goes sheet white.
What is it, Grab?
It's the bee. And he runs away, and thudding close behind you, with every waking step getting closer and closer, you see the terrible visage of a mighty troll.
Alarm!
And that is where we'll end for tonight.
Awake!
Oh!
Nice.
Oh man.
Okay.
How much of a rest would we have had from that little sleep?
You would have had 4 hours.
So...
And
Well,
we
I
also
mean-
would have had the full rest because we traveled days.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you hadn't used anything like. Oh, you mean since the
fight?
Yes. So the fight with the guys, you're fully rested from that.
Ah, right, okay. Thanks.
Yeah.
And then you are down by 1. Okay.
And what experience are we looking at?
Oh, you managed to cook up a cheeky. Excuse me. 200 points each.
Cool.
So level 3 is 900 experience, right?
Yeah, level 4 is 1800, I believe.
Got it. So we're up to.
No,
Level 4 is
sorry,
27.
2700. It's an 1800 point difference.
All right.
That was fun.
All right. We begin.
Very exciting.
Thank you, Alex. Yeah.
No worries. More to come next week.
Awesome. Hey, thank you so much. I'll see
Yeah.
you guys next week.
Yeah, see you next
Talk to you
week.
guys soon. All the best.
That was good.
See you later.
Bye.
Bye.